Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Laymen Daily Show. Well, all I've been doing all weekend is pretty much playing Diablo 4. Let me tell you, it has been quite the experience. I couldn't help but feel like there's one aspect, though, that really, really sours it for me. It is, well, I'll get to it after the drop, really. But we've got a Diablo review today. That's going to take most of the time. Got a little bit of news. I got an AI game, which isn't an AI game. It's just kind of like ripping on a IP that we know and love that's used an AI image, it seems. And then on top of that, we've got the quiz game at the end, okay? We've got a really big show. After the drop, let's see how the chat is, okay? All this and more after the drop. All right. How's everyone in the chat? Everyone's good? Good. Let me tell you, I was very excited for Diablo. I knew when it came out I was going to drop everything and just play it. I finished the campaign. I finished in about 22 hours. I did some stuff along the side and all that kind of stuff, but I think I'm predominantly going to just talk about the campaign today. But I'm not sure if I want to talk about the campaign first or the monetization. I feel like the monetization is the first thing I want to talk about, right? When a game is full price, and not only when it's full price, but when it hits you with Deluxe Edition and Ultimate Deluxe Super Duper Edition, it's just frustrating, I think, when, number one, the offering is so measly, but when you log into the game, the monetization that's going to follow you around through the entire experience is even more, in my opinion, truly disgusting. Now, this is a brilliant game, right? I honestly think the campaign especially was a brilliant experience. It really puts it back for me at the same level. Not the same level as Diablo 2, but definitely on the trajectory of Diablo becoming the franchise that we all know and love. It had a rocky time, especially with Diablo 3, and then, of course, with Diablo Immortal. Man, when I logged in and saw the cosmetic prices for some of these items, I was like, are you fucking having a laugh? $37.45 for their epic or their legendary skins in their cosmetic store. Aussie. $37. Now, this game is like $80 or something base model, or $89 base model. We're verging on half the price of the entire experience, the entire game, for one skin. Now, there are other skins too that are cheaper, and some of those skins come in at about $16 or $17. Mount skins are also about $17. That becomes a bit more acceptable, potentially, but not for a full price game. Not for a full price game. $37, half the price for one particular piece of armor, is honestly disgusting. And when I logged in and looked at it, I'm like, my God, I've already paid a premium for this game. I feel like the prices have already gone up. You're trying to recover as a franchise from disgusting monetization with Diablo Immortal. Let's be honest. I mean, they are trying to, regain what people thought Diablo was when Diablo 3 wasn't as good as Diablo 2. Obviously, it had a rocky launch, but all in all, people thought it was an acceptable product. And then Diablo Immortal comes around, and it's one of the worst monetized games. Of course, it's a mobile game, but it is free to play. That's the saving grace of that, right? It is free to play Diablo Immortal. This is a full price game. This is a full price game, and yes, we're not seeing any pay to win mechanics in here with their cosmetics. It's still, for me, one of the most disappointing things I've seen here, because it feels like they haven't learned any lessons. It seems to be worse. It seems to be worse monetization than Blizzard with Overwatch 2. Overwatch is a free to play game. When you are creating a free to play game, then yes, you need to then have some actual ways in which the developers can pay their bills, man. I get it, right? I understand that. But when you bring out a game that is full price, $37 a skin, and you're also trying to recoup your losses brand-wise from Diablo Immortal, I feel like that is just such a bad taste in my mouth. And even though I thought this was a brilliant experience, and I'll get into the details of why I thought it was brilliant, that was the first thing I think I wanted to talk about, because I just think it's disgusting. On top of that, the actual Deluxe Edition and the Super Duper Ultimate Edition, or whatever you get, what do you actually get inside, right? Now, some may say that, yes, you get to play the game 3 days early or something, or 4 days early. But that does not become tangible after 4 days, right? Yes, that is a feature, but it's a very short-lived feature, right? So what do you get for paying that money? Or the Deluxe Edition, you get a seasonal battle pass. And that's another thing. Why is there a seasonal battle pass in a game that you've paid full price for? Why can't you just fully experience it for the first 3 months before you start jamming down my throat that you want to be making me pay for additional content that you're blocking off and behind a paywall? It's like, what? I just paid you fucking $90 for this, Aussie. That's the first thing that you get. The second thing is you get a Temptation mount, and you get some armor for that mount. That seems to be it, folks. That seems to be it. And that's $20 US more. $20 US more, and it ended up being about $30. About $30 more for me. And then on top of that, if you want to do the ultimate super duper hyper mega drive system fucking, edition, you get the same shit you got before. You do get a accelerated battle pass, but you're going to get those items anyway if you're playing the game, especially if you're playing it and playing the campaign and enjoying the game in the way that you're supposed to enjoy it. You're going to unlock those things anyway. And then on top of that, you get an emote. You get an emote. Right? Guys. Stop the presses. How silly am I? For the Ultimate Edition, you also get Wings of the Creator emote. I just feel like when people, when developers want to ask for money for certain editions, that's okay. It's a pretty standard part of any of the gaming industry, but make sure it's worth it and make sure people feel like, hey, I've paid for this. Don't just dangle you can play a little bit early. That is such a weak offering. That is such a weak offering. Oh, you want to play the game? Woohoo, look at this. You can play it 3 days before. Oh, come on. The other stuff you get is absolute nonsense, but you get to play the game 3 days before. I just feel like that is not worth it and not a feature I think that, of course, stands the test of time because after 3 or 4 days, who gives a shit, right? Who gives a damn? But that's the first thing I want to cover on this. I think it's really disappointing to see what they've done monetization-wise here for a brilliant game. I feel like this, and we'll put monetization aside here, I feel like this is the first great experience that I can think of with Diablo since Diablo 2. Now, it doesn't rival how revolutionary Diablo 2 was. Diablo 1, of course, was like the revolution. Diablo 2 made it bigger, better, cinematically, playstyle, classes. It was just 10x'd itself, It was just incredible. It was a phenomenon, right? Diablo has this great way, I think, of it doesn't need to change. It just needs to make itself better. Do you know what I mean? And Diablo 4 felt like it's back to what that was for me. Diablo 3 is great. I played that a lot. I played that 100 or 200 hours of that, right? I really enjoyed that. But of course, everyone agreed that it wasn't actually standing up to Diablo 2. It was just kind of like, okay, well, that was lightning in a bottle and this one isn't as good. Diablo Immortal came around and people were like, oh God, this is horrendous, right? Jesus. This is how far Diablo has fallen from grace now with Diablo Immortal. With Diablo 4, I truly feel like they're back in a lot of ways, right? This is the first product I can think of, apart from Overwatch 1, which won Game of the Year in 2016, where I can feel like this is Blizzard again. This is good shit. This is freaking good shit. They've made a fantastic product all around. And I'm just so glad to see that this game has been a success apart from the monetization. This game, in my opinion, has been a huge success about what they've tried to do. But I guess the first thing that I want to talk about is what really stuck out to me was cinematically. This feels like, oh my God, man, this goes to like, this is so much more than what we originally used to see in Diablo. Like Diablo 2 and Diablo 3, like an act would finish and then like you'd be some cinematic and then kind of off you went for another 4 or 5 hours into that act without seeing another cinematic. Where Diablo 4 is definitely like, hey, we're going to give you multiple cinematics if we can throughout those acts. Now it's a bit heavy at the start, right? Act 1 and Act 2 felt like there was more cinematics throughout, then it kind of tapers off for a little bit. And then they come back for Act 6. Cinematically, Act 6 is probably the best cinematic I've ever seen from Blizzard. It was like, I was watching it and I was like, holy shit. Halfway through, I was literally saying, oh my God, that is incredible. Like the cinematic quality of this game, the way that it presents itself, the story, which I'll get to in a second, but the story woven into those cinematics is really, really enjoyable. But the way that they've tried to make this more it's just presented cinematically in a way that you are so engaged in it. You can't wait for that next moment where you get to sit back and see that story unfold in that way. And I feel like that's one way that it definitely improved over Diablo 2 and Diablo 3. And it's something that feels to me like the developers put a hell of a lot of effort into this, in telling the story correctly and visually making it look incredible. But the story itself, man, I'm surprised how much I actually cared about the story. Like Lorath and Doran and Nyrel and even Lilith, man. Even Lilith felt like I really wanted to know more about these characters. And as you go on in this story, there's a camaraderie that is established. And there's real moments that you feel like, mortality is on the line. Like the other Diablos felt like you cared about who the Wanderer was with Diablo 2 and Diablo 3. You wanted to figure out the World Stone and you wanted to like see where that story went, but you were there for the combat. You were there for the Diablo combat more than anything, I think, in that moment where you get to see Diablo again in Diablo 3 or whatever, right? With this one, I love the combat, but like the story-wise, man, I was just so unbelievably surprised to see how much I cared about these characters and wanted to see where it went. And as it went on, and the band of companions that seemingly found their way back to you, like you just wanted to see that story unfold. So that's another thing I feel like is probably a little bit better than the original Diablos, or Diablo 2 and 3, And like I felt like the story they told and the characters that were with you, it was not act-driven, Each story felt, although there was like a continuation through every act, like every character you met in every act, like it was very much contained in that environment, where this one, it doesn't have that kind of constraint. You get to go with these characters pretty much throughout the entire game. And like Lorath, for instance, the guy that you kind of meet at the beginning of the game, I mean, he is one of the best characters in this game, not only because he does a fantastic job in terms of the voice actor, one of the best voices I've heard in a long time, but just his overall arc, and his relationships with Doran and even Nyrel, like her story too, like it's just fantastic. So if you're playing this game for the campaign and playing this game for the story to see how the world is built on in terms of emotionally putting things into Diablo that you wouldn't usually expect, it's absolutely here. It's absolutely here. And towards the end of the game, there's a real heart in this game that I didn't expect. Like there's real moments where you feel like, oh my God, like shit, this was real for some of these people, and this there was real cost to pay in this story. I think sometimes in like a Diablo game or whatever, right, where it's very light on the story-driven moments, it's hard to connect with the characters because you can't help but feel like they're just a vehicle to get to the next quest. Where with this, you really feel like you cared. And in that regard, I was very pleasantly surprised. And again, just made me, it just reestablished my idea of this is back, baby. Diablo is back, for me at least. You know what else I really loved? The campaign itself. It took me 22 hours to finish. And I loved it. I pretty much finished it in like 2 days. I just smashed it out, did nothing else but play that. Like Saturday, I just sat there from like 7 a.m. till like 9 o'clock in the night, just played it all day. Friday, I played it pretty much all the day too. So it ended up being around 22 hours, I think, to finish it. So if you're wondering what this is, now I know that some people finish this in 10 hours. I didn't finish this in 10 hours. Again, it took me about 22, but I did some little bits and pieces on the side. There's 6 acts in here with an epilogue at the end, and or prologue. Which ones? You know what I mean. And all in all, I feel like it was a good length, right? Like the actual story itself feels like it unfolds in a very good pacing. Now there is one act in the campaign that is really, really short. There's one act before it that like takes a decent amount of time. Probably the longest act is Act 3, and then after that you go into a very short act. A very short act indeed. But in terms of the campaign, man, I really thought it was not only from the story, but just, well, I mean, Lilith too, but the entire package of the campaign. If someone was going to play this for one thing and one thing only, and they only wanted to play the campaign and not the end game, I'd say, man, this is totally worth it. This is definitely worth playing because it's one hell of a ride. You could expect the similar things. Of course, you'll go to hell and whatever. Like, that's just like part and parcel of Diablo, right? That's not even a spoiler. This isn't a... I don't even know if this is a spoiler or a non-spoiler review, right? This is just like, we're just talking about it. But the combat itself throughout that campaign... Now, the power fantasy in here feels like it has gone up significantly for me, like especially playing the Necromancer. Necromancer for me is when he's firing on all cylinders and you've got all your summoners out. Like, it's just incredible. Now, I'm playing this on a 3080 Ti. Oh, no, 3080. And I felt like the combat was just so engaging. Now, it's basically what you would expect from the previous Diablos, right? I don't expect this to be anything different from the original one. But what I will say is it just feels like maybe they've just fleshed out how they want to make it feel more intense. Like, there are certain moments this feels far more intense than I would have originally remembered from Diablo 2 and Diablo 3. And just the way that combat is kind of... sometimes it's going to be small things, and sometimes you're going to find world events and all that kind of stuff, which I'll get to, where it just feels like it's firing on all cylinders. So if you're looking for that original Diablo experience, but like not 10x, but like 2x or 3x, you're going to get that. And I had a great time with the Necromancer. Now, in the beta, I played all the classes, but Necromancer is the one that I actually ended up playing a bit more of. So combat itself feels fantastic. And on top of combat, I would say that the boss fights, man, some of the boss fights were incredible. It's great how the camera will actually zoom out for some of these big boss fights. And the environment itself feels again a bit like Diablo 3, where it would give you markers when things were going to, like certain things were going to hit and kind of get out of the way and whatever. But the boss fights felt again like it was definitely a step up. Just like how big and grand it was, and like the mechanics of it, and trying to learn the fight. And I only died a couple of times, really. I played this on World Tier 1 when I finished it, and then I started. And now I'm on World Tier 2. But yeah, I mean the bosses themselves, that really felt also like a really great experience, you know. So woven into the campaign, the combat's fantastic, and the bosses are fantastic. I will say some bosses are much better than the others. And I think sometimes just the sheer size of those bosses in that combat fight makes it feel bigger and better for some reason. I don't know how to put it, but like there's certain experiences that I look back on now, like Astaroth, and I'm like, holy shit, that was a great experience. Or there's a boss that you fight before you get to Lilith, you know, and it's just this grand experience, and I just feel like that was pinnacle Diablo 4 for me, you know. Also, the skill tree, man. I'm pleasantly surprised how fun and how... I'm just purely talking about the Necromancer here. How many different builds... Of course, there's going to be different builds. But how forgiving the skill tree is. If you want to change things, you got to like spend a bit of a little bit of cash, but you can just easily refund things and change things and move things around and constantly explore what you want to do with the skill tree. I think that in itself is really great, because one thing about a lot of games with skill trees is they'll kind of... There's definitely... there's a commitment that you make with a skill tree in a lot of games, right? If you start, you know, putting certain talents into certain aspects, it's very hard to refund them. Now, that's not the case for Diablo 4. And if you want to change it up very quickly, it's, from what I've seen, it's pretty cheap to do it. Now, I didn't do it multiple times. And I wonder if that, like the coin it's going to cost to change builds in the future is going to stack and end up being a lot more. But from what I saw, it wasn't actually that bad. And I love that. Now, I did a summoner build, so I was just trying to get as many like skeletons and golem as powerful as possible and whatever. And yeah, so look, in terms of the skill tree, I just love how it's all mapped out and how it all connects. When I originally saw the skill tree, it kind of reminded me a little bit of Final Fantasy X. You know how you've got to like unlock certain things to then progress to the next area. But then the more I thought of it, it's kind of similar to a lot of other skill trees out there. It's not reinventing the wheel here, you know? And it's all categorized into like your main ability, your core, and then there's an ultimate, and then there's a passive, all that kind of stuff, right? So I guess the main takeaway for me with the skill tree was just how fluid it is. You know, you can change it and chop and change it all if you want. You can jump online and see someone else doing a different build, and for very minimal cost, you can try different things through this, and I think that's actually quite good. Now, I will get to the comments in a second, guys. I know I just want to talk about this. I've been so excited to talk about this. Now, I'll get to the bugs in a second, but the last thing I think I'll talk about was dungeon and world events, right? Now, I did about, I don't know, maybe a dozen dungeons, and I did, I don't know, I reckon I did 40 or 50, 40 odd or something different world events. Like, I tried to do as many world events that I saw. World events are a bit disappointing because they end up being maybe 5 or 6 different categorized ideas. Some of them would be like, you know, a villager is under a cart and you've got to like protect them. Or like there's some sort of ritual going on and you got to stop this succubus from like, you know, getting all her power. Or some ghost is looking for her remains, so you've like got to follow her around or something. And it ended up being the same thing pretty much over and over again. So once you've done like, I'd say 10 to 15 world events, you've pretty much experienced everything that you can expect from a world event. And that's disappointing because that's going to be populating most of the world when you're just like traversing around and experiencing it. Yes, you're going to see dungeons and forgotten outposts. But all in all, the world event is going to be when you connect a lot with other players that are playing. You're going to like, you know, they're going to see it, you're going to see it, you're going to jump in and maybe do it together, whatever, which I didn't see one other person doing it with me. I don't know, I didn't say that, but I'm guessing that's going to be definitely something as the game comes out and you're going to see a lot more people in the world when it comes out at on the actual release date. But yeah, like in terms of the world events, I was a bit disappointed. Now the dungeons, well, the strongholds, the dungeons are great, right? And they're a lot lengthier than I thought. But again, they follow a similar pattern where it's just pretty much, hey, go over here, go over there, kill this or destroy this little thing that's stopping the gate from being opened. Then you can go and kill the boss, right? So they feel again a bit. There's just not a lot of uniqueness to these dungeons, which makes me feel like I want to go in again and again. Because again, after like the dozen or so that I've done, I don't know, I just feel like, okay, I've kind of experienced a lot of this and I understand the mechanics and the formula behind this, but I'll continue to do it because I just want to still level up and experience the world. But don't, for me, with the world events and the dungeons, don't expect to have very unique experiences time and time again. I will say the strongholds, though, I think they are quite unique, and you can think of them almost like instances in a way. It's like, you know, WoW instances. Like there's unique ones in 3 in each area, and I really enjoyed those actually. I thought they were great fun, and they definitely, they transformed after you did it. And from what I've played, I can't seem to play them again. Even if I change the world tier, I don't think I can play the strongholds again unless I'm missing something. But I think after you've done the stronghold, it's done. And there's 3 per area. And the more that you kind of explore each area or each corner of the map, you unlock certain rewards like a skill tree talent or an extra potion, XP and gold and all that kind of stuff. So I guess in short, the world is very populated, but it's very formulaic. And once they figure out that, I feel like once Diablo figured out their formula for certain types of events, they stuck to them. Like maybe 5 to 6 different types, apart from the strongholds that do feel somewhat more unique. You're going to experience a very formulaic style every time that you go into these dungeons or world events. But that doesn't mean I'm not enjoying them. I just feel like it's disappointing to see that very quickly I learnt what they were doing and I wasn't expecting much more from that. Now the bugs. Now it's early, right? It's a live service game, big game. I got to play it early. Thanks, Blizzard. Just had to give you $30 Aussie. Now the bugs, would I say there's a few of them? I would say there was a decent amount of them. Sometimes I would try and get on my horse and then my horse would just like gallop away and I'm just standing there like floating. I would not constantly. I would disconnect a couple of times every couple of hours, you know. I would try and log in. It would say your account is blocked. Try and log in again in a couple of minutes. That shit happened. It wasn't hurting my experience personally, right? It only happened, I would say in my 22 hours, bugs happened maybe 20 times, including disconnects, blocked from account, or like a weird horse thing, or like not being able to go into an area where I would try and ride forward and it would just wouldn't let me and stuff. Like it wasn't things like, you know, as much as we love to rip on games that are buggy, like this doesn't feel like it's warranted, right? Like I feel like with an experience like Diablo, it's just come out, there's going to be some tweaking. I can expect a little bit of hiccups here and there, especially with something that's on a server and you're going to disconnect, right? And I did experience that. But it didn't actually get in the way of my playing at all. When I look back and finish this campaign, never once did I think, oh my God, this would have been so much better if the fucking bugs weren't there. Like, it wasn't getting in the way because it was so few and far between. And when I say 20 times over 22 hours, some of those were very condensed. Sometimes it would only, like, in a certain hour, I might have 4 or 5 bugs. And then, like, 6 hours would go by and there's not a single bug or disconnect. And then it would happen again, you know? But, like, that definitely did happen, and expect that. But, you know, the bugs are not something I think that are going to be a huge talking point in the review process going forward for people that are going to be playing this when this comes out, you know? Now, the end game. I haven't played that much of the end game. I've just started like the Tree of Whispers, and I've just been doing little bits and pieces and trying to find little events to do. Now, I know I'm on World Tier 2, and in order for me to get to World Tier 3, I've got to go into the Cathedral of Light or something and do a certain instance. I tried to do it. It's too freaking hard. I finished the game at level 40. I'm level 45 now, so since I've played, I've continued to play, right? So I guess my closing statements. This has been, oh God, 26 minutes of a review. Woo, juicy. This game has been incredible for me. I think this has rezzed Diablo for a lot of people, especially me. It shows that Blizzard can still do fantastic work if they are true to the source material and just kind of double down on what they know they're good at. Monetization is extremely disappointing in this, but this feels like the best experience that I've seen since Diablo 2. In a lot of ways, this is, of course, better than Diablo 2 because times have changed. Quality of life, the quality of game and quality of life differences in the game have changed. And you can expect a lot more of an offering from this than clearly from Diablo 2. But the difference is, Diablo 2, when it came out, it kind of revolutionized what we were expecting from Diablo. It made it bigger, better in every way. And it became a phenomenon. With this just feels like it's playing its greatest hits, and that's what SkillUp said to me. So I said that first now, okay? You heard it here first, all right? Heard it here first. It's Diablo just playing its greatest hits, and I think that's very true. This is really just them knowing what they're good at, wanting to execute on that, and wanting to play it safe, I think, in a way that still builds and gives you a very high-quality product and builds on the world of Diablo, but in a way that makes you feel like it didn't stray too far from what it knows it's good at. And I prefer that. There's going to be some people out there that wanted this game to be like revolutionary. Oh my God, it's so different. It's so new. It's so bold. Now, fuck that shit. I don't want that. I want original Diablo just in 2023 standards. Give me a new story. Give me a new way to play. And give me a reason to pick up Diablo again. I would say that after Diablo Immortal, Diablo had a very big problem on its hands where it felt like a lot of the hardcore audience were disappointed and disenfranchised, and they definitely felt, I think, from the developer's point of view, is they had to make up ground, you know? I think they've made up ground here. I really think this is one of the better games that I've experienced this year. This is one of the best Diablo games I've played all year, and I feel like any sort of damage that was done with Diablo Immortal, although we don't forget it, this feels like this is a way forward. You know, and it shows that the franchise is actually healthy and really put in a position for, you know, it's a live service game. We're going to be seeing more and more content come out every 3 months. This is in a very healthy position now to recoup a lot of its losses brand-wise. All in all, fantastic game. Monetization fucking sucks. And anyone that is wanting to buy a $37 Australian skin, there is something wrong with you. All right, but if you want to buy it, you buy it. But all in all, guys, that is it. All right, that's the review. I really enjoyed it. Really worth playing. It's been a fantastic experience, and I haven't finished yet. And I've got a new member. Thank you so much, Edith, for becoming a new member. I appreciate that. Appreciate you, man. Love you. Appreciate you. All right, open for questions now, guys. If you guys want to ask me some questions, I'd love to hear it. Omar says, SkillUp gets all his good ideas from Sam. Exactly. You heard it from me first, guys. You heard it from me first. SkillUp. Who is this loser? Hey, Sam. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Okay, I have a question. Should I buy the deluxe skins for my Necromancer or Golem? Thanks for advance. Look, I think, terrible question, firstly, whoever this guy is. Mods, can we ban that guy? He's a bit toxic. Yeah, definitely, man. I reckon, you know what? I think you should buy 10 of them. Absolutely. I'm glad you're here, my friend. Again, my chat. And if SkillUp did hear that I said greatest hits, as I said, you guys heard it here first. I was the one that said it first. Okay? So next time you hear Ralph say anything about greatest hits, the game has greatest hits, it's from me first. Okay? Mark says $37 is fucked. It certainly is. It certainly is. It's crazy. Quiz time in a bit, guys. We're going to be doing the quiz later on. We always love the quiz. Okay, now this one, I haven't actually listened to the questions, but I did go a little bit. There's like 40 questions. I went into the question 10 to 20. I thought that they would be a little bit harder. In other news, what's going on in the world of gaming? Well, Blacklisted Gaming Podcast says, I started playing yesterday at first Diablo play. I picked Rogue and they nerfed it today. Did they nerf it? I did not know that. Oh, shit. That's a shame. In other news, which is very different, Nintendo has officially ceased all eShop sales to players in Russia. And everyone's like, good. Look, this is the situation. This is the reality. It's a shame, but more and more companies are definitely trying to step away from being affiliated and associated with Russia, Mother Russia. Don't think Sony or Xbox has done it yet. Xbox needs all the sales it can get. But I anticipate we're going to see more and more. And we have seen major... I think McDonald's also got out of Russia recently. There was other major companies that have done this too, but this is not going to be the last. I see a certain... Look, it is something that is good. It stands with trying to end this silly war. And the more companies that take a stand, the better, right? I will say though, there is certainly a lot of innocent people that want to just play Nintendo games in Russia, and they can't do that now. That's a shame for them. Damn you, Putin. Tell you what. Stu says, I don't get playing for skins in single-player games. I often leave DLC skins and weapons because they mess with the early game balance. Well, I mean, it's not pay to get it's not pay to win these skins anyway, so it's not going to actually affect. It's not going to affect your playstyle when you do play this. How does punishing the regular Russian people help? I understand what you're saying, Goat Man. That's what I mean. So there's definitely some innocent people out there that don't get to play their games, which is a shame. You know, it is absolutely a shame. Yes. In other news, what have we got here? Oppenheimer is rated R. Now, this is a game. This is a game. This is something that I'm very excited for. And let me tell you, okay, Oppenheimer, you know, Christopher Nolan just wants to play his greatest hits, folks. All right, just wants to play his greatest hits. I'm very excited for this. I'm actually in Europe now. I go to Europe in a couple of weeks, actually. In how many weeks? Like 3 or something weeks? 4 weeks? So, guys, I'm going to be taking some time off, but I am going to be doing all E3. 3 a.m. a lot of these shows start, so I will be up. I will be doing this with you guys. But Oppenheimer, when it comes out, it is rated R, and I'll be in Europe. You know what else comes out when I'm in Europe? Barbie. And I'll be watching that for sure. Very excited for that indeed. What else I got here? Breaking. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth development is progressing smoothly and according to plan, and the team is currently working on nailing down a release date for the game. Very excited for this. Definitely want to play this. I need to go back and finish the original Final Fantasy remake. Jesus Christ. I'm about 70 or 80% through. God. I'm a casual gamer, folks. What's wrong with me? Got to actually finished it. 3-hour R-rated IMAX movie is a first. I mean, I don't know if this is the first. I mean, I'm sure there's other 3-hour R-rated movies, but I am very excited for anything Christopher Nolan does. Christopher Nolan, definitely with Tenet. I don't know if you guys thought Tenet was like coherent. Not for me. I'm sorry. Like I get what it was. I get it. But anyone that's sitting there going, yes, I understand what he's trying to. I'm like, shut up. Okay. And everyone in that cinema was confused as hell. I know I certainly was. I just didn't have the balls to ask the person next to me what was going on. Tenet is the most like cooked thing Nolan's ever done. I personally think. Best thing he's ever done? Ooh, Interstellar. Absolutely. Tenet was rubbish, Edith says. Absolutely. Well, okay. Not rubbish. Okay. I liked it. But the way that he told the story was rubbish. Like, I'm sorry, it was proper rubbish. I loved the concept. I loved the actors, the performance, like the overall, you know, it was a good experience. But the way that he decided to tell the story. Like Michael Caine in that moment where he sits down with what's Denzel Washington's son? The guy. Denzel Washington's son plays the main guy. Mr. Washington, whoever that is. When they sit down and do that little talk together, and Michael Caine's just going, blah, 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 blah. Did you know, mate? Blah, 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 blah. 2 minutes go by, so much information is thrown at you, and you're like, holy shit, I don't know. I don't understand the story more from that scene. I don't know what happened. You know, it's like Michael Caine is going on for 2 minutes straight, the quickest dialogue I've ever seen in my life. Hey, you going, mate? Bottle of water, out. See you later. And that was the end of the scene. And it's not my favorite. That's for sure. Now, this is interesting. Wake up, Toombs. In June, we'll reveal some hot info about Phantom Liberty to ensure your enthusiasm doesn't fizzle out. Ooh, I feel like that's a bit desperate. To ensure your enthusiasm doesn't fizzle out, guys, just please stay with us for the game. We'll be inviting you to a Phantom Tour, a series of events around the world dedicated to showing the expansion to our community. More deets coming soon. Okay. Well, very excited to see what this is. Now, I'm guessing this is going to be Summer Games Fest vibes. I haven't seen anything more on this, but I'm guessing this is going to be sometime in the E3 weekend. Very excited for that. Or they may feel like, you know what, E3 is a bit packed. We might do it the week after. You know, makes sense. Omar says it was okay to watch, just not one I would recommend to others unless they are really into technical aspects of films. Unless you're like freaking, you know, Einstein or, you know, Da Vinci. I think Da Vinci had a 200 IQ. Yeah. You're not going to understand this film, and that's okay, because us together, we can all now agree that we didn't understand what the hell was going on in Tenet. Okay? Now we can all agree. Try and score an invite. Good to see you again, try and score an invite, Sam, into this. Well, I don't know what this is, but hey, if we get some more information, I'll be sure to cover it. In other news, Duke Nukem now. Okay, guys, do you know how we usually play the AI game, right? I give you an image, you got to figure out if it's AI or not. Not today. Today, the AI image is, we can clearly see it's AI, and it seems like Duke Nukem Remastered has been criticized for using an AI-generated art. Now, is this true or not? There's some things that seem like it may be the truth. Now, I think that's the first thing, right? Fine. And then where's the other one? There's another hand. Yeah, I don't understand what the hell's going on there. Like, that doesn't look like a normal hand. Right? So this is apparently an AI-generated image for their upcoming Duke Nukem game. A lot of people jumped on this and gave it a lot of shit. But look, you know, is this the future of gaming in terms of marketing itself? Absolutely, for indie devs. You better believe that some indie devs that don't have a lot of cash, they're trying to save costs, and they're able to generate an image or at least tweak an image in AI that's going to save them a lot of money. I reckon AI is going to play a pivotal role in cheaply advertising certain things. Absolutely. But Duke Nukem? That's interesting. That is interesting, you know? So look, no AI game today. Just Duke Nukem AI game. Is it real? Is it fake, guys? Let me know what you think. I'll come back to it. Another news, Sony and Nintendo are in discussions with Qualcomm regarding the future development of portable gaming devices, according to Qualcomm CVP Alex Katouzian. I think it's Katouzian. So it seems like they're going to be working on allowing their screens to be made. And they say, Qualcomm says that they're going to be working on a new, some sort of console towards the end of this year. Now, we originally thought that we were going to see the new Nintendo Super Switch or Switch 2, Switch Pro, whatever you want to call it, this year. But it seems like it's going to be sometime around 2024. It does make sense, especially when Nintendo has made commentary around that and said, you know what, don't expect any price drops for the current Nintendo Switch, and at least until April or May of 2024. So that's probably when they're going to start announcing or maybe even releasing it. But we can expect from what Qualcomm has said, am I saying that right? Qualcomm? Qualcomm it is. We can expect that we may see something later next year, because what they've said is that they are working on a new gaming console and started manufacturing on that. Or they're starting manufacturing later this year, I should say. In other news, it's not just gaming, guys. Sometimes you get to see the stars, okay? Webb telescope spots water plume 20 times the size of the moon erupting from Enceladus. Is it Enceladus or Enceladus? I feel like it's Enceladus. So. In other news, also, Webb has taken this. Now, this is beautiful. Look at this. This is actually a photo from the Webb telescope. Why are we here, folks? To explore the stars. That's the only reason we're here. Okay, don't let them tell you otherwise. That is it. Think about it. Think about it. What are we here for? What's the greatest thing that we can think of as humanity? To explore the stars. And we're doing it. One planet at a time. Can we explore Uranus, please? Nice, Sam. Nice. In other news, this year's summer PC gaming show is even bigger than usual, featuring special access to developer studios around the world. So this is apparently going to be like, look, I don't know how long this is. I remember the previous one's like 3 hours, but this is going to be bigger and better. If it's longer than 3 hours, my God, I'm going to be covering this. But I do think that the PC game show actually does get in the way of Xbox's showcase, I think. I think it does. So I'm going to be covering that. I definitely want to try and cover as many of them as possible. It's going to be a busy weekend, a lot of 3 a.m. streams with you guys. Okay. Jane says, look at its ring. I mean, the ring doesn't look as, it doesn't look as cool as I thought it would look. Let's be honest. I remember Saturn, all the photos I would see. No, Saturn. I'm thinking Saturn. This is live. There's a little ring, actually. You're right. Jupiter. In other news, this is just a small thing. EA partners with Nike on its Web3 digital platform Swoosh. So apparently in future EA Sports titles, EA Sports and Nike plan to make select Swoosh virtual creations available, allowing players and members unique new opportunities for self-expression and creativity through sports and style. You know what that sounds like? Ka-ching! Going to be EA being EA and bringing Nike into it. All right. Nike's going to be like, no, I don't think we should monetize like this. EA's like, just do it. Nice. Who knows what this is going to look like, but I do know that I'm not excited to see anything that EA does when they're trying to make unique opportunities for self-expression and creativity through sport and style, because there's going to be a big price tag on it. Do you want to look cool? Open this Ultimate Team loot box. You might look cool, or you might look like a dag. Either one. In other news, Nintendo, I've got it in my head now. NVIDIA RTX 5000 graphics card rumored to launch next year with massive performance increases. Now, apparently, we can expect at least a 2 times increase from the 4000 series. Is that going to be correct? Maybe, maybe not. I'm still rocking my 3080, and it's fine. I'm doing good with this 3080. I don't need a new one. But, look at how thick boy this looks. Jesus Christ. I mean, graphics cards are just getting so thick boy. Now, I don't know if this is a concept, but it looks very thick. And we're going to continue. I reckon as we go on, we're going to need separate units from the tower just for the graphics card. You heard it here first, folks. You heard it here first. Or cloud gaming and cloud streaming is going to get to a point where graphics cards just become obsolete for the average consumer, and that doesn't really matter anymore. Have to see. What else is happening in the world of gaming? Okay, we're nearly approaching the game, the quiz game. Okay, who's ready for the quiz game? Oh, Satnab, £5, bottle of water. Thank you, mate. For pint for Sam, thank you very much, man. I appreciate you. All right, instead of a pint, I'll have a bottle of water for you. What do you reckon? Final Fantasy 16 demo spotted on PlayStation Store. Now, we knew that there was going to be there's going to be a demo, right? Now, someone has started spotting it online. Apparently, some people have seen it, especially people that haven't already pre-ordered the game. They haven't actually released a time, though, that you can play this Final Fantasy 16 demo. It hasn't officially been released. So people are expecting it. This may be actually released after E3 week, which makes sense. We may see something in the Summer Games Fest, or maybe, who knows, right? Maybe we'll see, or maybe we'll see it on the Xbox showcase, guys. That's where we'll see the demo was available, guys. That makes sense. Am I right? And lastly, guys, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse has a spectacular box office debut earning $120.5 million. That's huge. Little Mermaid brought in $40 million, and Stephen King's adaptation of The Boogeyman napped $12.3. Now, I saw The Boogeyman. It was okay. It wasn't great. It was okay. I wouldn't see it again, you know. Didn't see The Little Mermaid yet. Didn't see The Little Mermaid. Actually, my brother's girlfriend saw it, and she said it was okay, but she said it wasn't as good as the original one, and she's also said, like, aesthetically, it looked a lot darker than the original one. Apart from one or two scenes, it just had a darker tone to it. She preferred the original one. But I saw Across the Spideyverse, and man, that was incredible. Absolutely worth seeing. One of the best animation films I've ever seen. Now, everyone who's here, who's ready for the quiz game? Let me just make sure it's all ready to go. Okay, so you guys know how this goes. 10 questions. We're only doing 10 questions today. See how you go. I'm going to play some music. Now, I don't know what these questions are, so these could be super easy or super hard. Because last time we did the impossible version, and I got none of them right. So here we go, guys. Who's ready for the quiz game to finish off the show? Okay. Oh, easy clap. Come on. Okay, everyone know what this is? Metal Gear Solid. Dun, dun, dun. Snake? Snake! That was easy. All right. Easy. Oh, this is going to be easy today. Okay. Final Fantasy VII. One-Winged Angel, I think it's called. I think it's One-Winged Angel or something. Snake? Snake! Oh, that was easy. Okay, 2 right. Here we go. This is too easy. This is too easy. This is clearly God of War. Right? This is God of War. Boy. Guile theme. Street Fighter. I said Street Fighter 2, you know what I'm talking about, okay? No, I got that right. That's 3 right. Yeah, this is easier. The other one was so hard the other day. All right, here we go. I got no idea. Does anyone know what this is? No idea. Fuck. Okay, that was okay. I have played that too, but like 10 years ago. 12 years ago. I know the song. I don't know what it is. I didn't know the song then. I just thought I sounded like I knew something. Nah. 3 right, 2 wrong. Jesus Christ, catching up now. Jesus. Okay, here we go. We haven't lost yet. It's all good. It's gonna get demonetized. Hell yeah. All right. We know what this is. Crash Bandicoot. Mortal Kombat. Demonetized. All right. Mega Man. People got Mega Man? Fuck, I didn't get it. Okay, we know what this is. Could be Dreamland. San Andreas. Easy. Mario 64. Yeah, how'd you know? It was Mario 64. That's exactly right. Oh, okay, yep. Yep. The 4 right, 2 wrong, right? This is Doom, right? I'm pretty sure this is Doom. Doom, yeah. That's 6 right, 2 wrong? 5 right, 2 wrong? Something like that. 5 right, 2 wrong? I don't know, something like that. Fuck. I know this song from the meme. I don't know what this is called again. Oh my god, no. No. I don't know what it's called. Oh, come on. Damn. Damn. Alright, that was my bad. My bad. Alright. Banjo-Kazooie. Easy. Come on, guys. Mario 64. Mario 64. Now he takes the penguin and tries to throw him over. The mother gets very angry. Easy. Smash Bros. No, Stu. You were joking, right? Oh, you know what? It's all good. Yeah, of course. Wii Sports. Nice strike. There it is, yeah. All right. Okay, I actually like this one. There's a lot more. There's 47 minutes of this. We're only 9 minutes through, so we'll do the rest of them another time, right? But guys, thank you so much. That was my Diablo review, a bit of news, reviews, and discussions. The AI game in the middle, kind of, and the quiz at the end. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you so much for the member and the super chats. For everyone that's joined today, thank you so much. Apart from Shill Up, everyone else, thank you for being here. All right, guys, have a wonderful day, evening, wherever you are, and I will see you guys next time. Laymen out for now. Monetisation Diablo. Great stuff.